In this video, we're going to show you how to disassemble and assemble a WASD V1 keyboard and how to desolder and solder on a Cherry MX switch when you have plate-mounted Cherry MX switches. So first we'll go over the tools that you'll need. The first tool is obviously a soldering iron. Then you'll either need a desoldering pump or a desoldering wick, and whichever. This one's much better, the desoldering pump, but this one is usually a little bit cheaper. I recommend the pump if you can get it. Costs about $4 or $5 if you can find it cheap. You'll need flux, solder, a Phillips head screwdriver, and a flathead screwdriver. You'll need preferably a thin one, small screwdriver, because this is what we'll use to open the tabs on the case. Key puller, and replacement switches for whatever switch you're trying to put on. Okay, so first let's turn on our soldering iron, and while that heats up, we'll disassemble the case. So here's the keyboard, and this customer actually broke a switch right here. This key totally came off with the stem, so we're gonna have to remove that. So the first thing to do is on the back, there's gonna be 3 screws, 2 under the feet and 1 in the middle. You're gonna have to break the do not remove sticker. So we'll do that. Okay, now with all the screws removed, we'll start with the back of the keyboard, and there's going to be 4 tabs that hold the back together. So what we'll do is, if you look at it at the right angle, which you won't be able to see in this video, you'll see a small section where you can actually see the tab inside, and what you want to do is just press your screwdriver straight into that tab. And then you'll hear, sometimes you hear it pop. This one didn't pop, but we'll do this other side. You see, you hear that little snapped open a little bit. And once you got the back open, what I do is I just kind of hold the case open with my finger to give it some pressure, and then I pop the remaining 2 tabs here. And once you have that open, there's going to be 2 more tabs on both sides. It's the same. There's one right here and one right here. Usually you just have to get this top one right here. Once you get that, repeat it for the other side. Okay, once you have that open, what you want to do is just kind of push in on the sides to kind of release the bottom tab, and then just pull up, and then they'll come off, and then you'll see here where all the tabs are. Now to remove this from the the bottom casing, there's a plug back here, so you just kind of pull on it, just kind of wiggle it out, and then you'll see here, here's this is the controller board. This one will stay screwed into the case, you don't need to mess with that, but here's the connector, and that's what holds it in place. So we'll get this out of the way. Now locate the switch that you want to replace. This is the 1 key, and on the back of the PCB, there's actually, let's see if we can, there's actually labels for all the keys, so you know which key you're working on. Okay, so we're going to desolder the switch. Unfortunately, this is as zoomed in as I can get the camera to focus. So what you're going to do is you want to heat up the solder point of the 2 switches, of the 2 contacts in the switch. They'll be directly next to the the bottom of the switch here, which is the black part. There's also a spot where the diodes are connected to the PCB. You don't need to desolder that. That's to remove the switch. Okay, so just place your tip and then use the pump and just suck it out. And I guess for demonstration purposes, I will show you with the desoldering wick. You basically just want to put the wick on top of the solder point and then heat up the solder through the wick, and then it'll kind of suck the solder out like that. Okay, so now with the switch fully desoldered, we're gonna have to take it out. So you flip it around, and on the front and on the top and the bottom of the switch, there's a little plastic tab here. Just stick a screwdriver in and just kind of lift it up, and it'll come right out. So here's the old switch. And we're just gonna just quickly prep the surface. You just want to clean it off of any contaminants. So we'll just use a little bit of alcohol here. We'll just wipe down the surface. Then you want to take your new switch and then put that in. It should just snap in place, and it really can't wiggle around or anything like that. It's pretty solid once it's in there. So to put the new solder on, you'll also want to prep the area with a little bit of flux. This will help the solder adhere to the surface. This is kind of just like, it's kind of like a marker, and it just leaves a little bit of flux there. Okay. So what we want to do is just heat up the surface until you kind of see the flux bubble a little bit. Then you place your solder clean that off again. And there you have it. New switch soldered on. And now let's reassemble the keyboard. I'll take the bottom case, make sure the grommet for the wire is in place, and you're just going to place this over. You can kind of use this hole here as a guide, and it should just, the pin should go back into the connector, and it should be a pretty snug fit once it's in. To reassemble the top of the case, you want to put in the front first. Just kind of snap that together on the front. You just go along the sides and just work your way to the back. Just make sure everything snaps back into place. Now we'll reinstall the screws. So there's one in the middle, again, two on the sides. And there you have it. New switch.